This lesson presents many exercises which will help to better understand the topic waves. Question 1. What causes the motion or vibration of particles in a medium when a wave passes through the medium? Now you have to know how a wave travels and what actually a wave carries when it travels in order to answer this question. Question 2 says, in terms of mode of propagation, waves can be divided into two classes, transverse and longitudinal. What do the underlying words mean? Here you have to know the definition of transverse and longitudinal waves. That is actually what you're asked to do. Giving the meaning of the underlying words means defining the underlying words, which are transverse and longitudinal. In question 3, you're asked to give the meaning of the following words with respect to waves: wavelength, period, amplitude, frequency. What you're asked to do here is to define the different words: wavelength, period, frequency, and amplitude. Give the definition of the words. Question 4 says, which of the following has a higher energy and why? Remember the relationship between amplitude and energy. Then you'll be able to answer the question. Question 5 says, the two springs below are attached to a wall at one end and displaced from the other end at the same time. Which of them reaches the wall faster and why? What actually is the difference between the two springs? You can see that spring A has a higher amplitude and spring B has a lower amplitude. Now, take note that amplitude does not affect the speed of a wave. That will help you answer the question. Question 6. A continuous progressive transverse wave has frequency of 10 Hz and wavelength of 20 centimeters. Calculate the speed with which the wave travels. What you're asked for here is the speed, and what has been given to you is the frequency and the wavelength. So what you do is you check for the formula that applies the frequency and the wavelength, and you use the formula to calculate the velocity. The next question says, what happens to the period of a wave as the frequency increases? This is to give the relationship between period and frequency. Remember, they are both inversely proportional. If one increases, the other decreases. The next question says, the period of the sound wave produced by a 440 Hz tuning fork is? You're asked to calculate the period. And what is given to you? Frequency, because the unit is in Hertz. So you apply the formula for period in terms of frequency. And question 9. A swinging ball makes one complete to and fro movement in 2 seconds. This statement provides information about the balls. That is, what information does this statement provide about the ball? That is it the period or the frequency or the wavelength or the speed? Question 10 says, if a pendulum in a physics lab makes 20 complete oscillations in 12 seconds, what is its period? Consider the time given 12 seconds and consider the number of oscillations given 20. From it, you calculate the period. And now they say, if the speed of the wave produced is 20 meters per second, what is the wavelength of the wave? Speed has been given, and you have calculated the period. From the period, you can calculate the frequency. Using the frequency and the speed, you can calculate the wavelength. And the last question says, which of the figures below display waves in phase and which displays waves out of phase, and why? You need to understand the notion of waves in phase and waves out of phase to answer the question, which brings us to the end of our topic.